The National Privacy Commission is investigating the reported cyber attack on Robinsons Land and Toyota Motor Philippines. The NPC confirmed receiving word on data breaches at the two companies last week. Initial reports found that full names, addresses, contact numbers, valid IDs, and copies of bank documents may have been exposed. The NPC has ordered all companies processing personal data to immediately inform affected customers of any breaches.
Joining us tonight to talk more about this, we have Attorney Rainier Milanes. He's the Chief of Compliance and Monitoring under NPC. Attorney Milanes, good evening. Thanks for making time for us.
Hi, good evening, Regina, Sean, and Risa, and to all your televiewers. Good evening.
Good evening.
Right. First, give us a scale of the problem. Exactly how many accounts were compromised? How many companies are we talking about here?
Yeah, so according to the report, actually there's two reports for Toyota, which we received from our data breach notification and management system. For entities like personal information controllers, they have to report personal data breaches within 72 hours from the moment of discovery. So as an old, in an old report to us in February 14, Toyota Makati affected 7,000 customers. Details affected are name, contact details, address, civil status. Toyota Motor Philippines reported to us last May 14 about the personal data breach concerning 120,000 users. Some of the items or personal data that's been compromised are usernames, telephone numbers, date of birth, age. And then Robinsons Land reported to us last June 3, affected customers of their app is 107,000 customers, and compromised data are usernames, login credentials, email, mobile numbers, date of birth, and gender.
Okay, so just to recap, 127,000 users for Toyota were affected, and for Robinsons Land, 107,000.
Well, we treat it as different because Toyota Makati is a different personal information controller, and Toyota Motors Philippines is also a different personal information controller.
I
so
see.
For Toyota Makati, it's 7,000 customers reported last February 14, and then Toyota Motor Philippines, 120,000 customers or users of their My Toyota app reported last May 14.
I see. So we have to treat them as two separate entities.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Attorney Rainier, how do I say this? It is so scary that companies everywhere are starting to experience these data breaches. I understand from your press statement, even the PNP also reported 6, I think last month, 6 breaches. But for these private companies, ano po ba yung sistema, no? Since you're the compliance officer of the NPC, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do the companies have to have a system that is approved by the NPC or not necessarily? And what happens once they report to you? I understand you're still investigating what happened, right? So how does the process really all work out?
So actually, as your personal data privacy regulator, we require that all entities processing personal data appoint a data protection officer. So the data protection officer is the one who is accountable or responsible for having implementations of security measures like organizational, technical, and physical security measures in order to protect personal and sensitive personal information that they process. So in this day and age of digitalization, and everything is getting digitalized, and we are in cyberspace, a lot of cyber crimes is really rampant nowadays, and it's always a question of when, and never a question of who or why or how. Data breaches is not only prevalent here in the Philippines. It's also a global threat, for everyone. So for the compliance and monitoring, what we do is we ensure we check on the personal information processors as we call them. These are your organizations that collect your data. And we check if they are implementing these so-called security measures, these technical, organizational, and physical security measures. And in the event of a personal data breach, the requirement of the law, the Data Privacy Act, and other issuances of the Commission, the requirement is when an organization is affected or victimized by a personal data breach by an external threat actor, they should report it to the National Privacy Commission through our data breach notification and management system within 72 hours from the discovery. So this is a mandatory requirement for all data processors here in the Philippines, not only for the private organizations, but also for the government, because we are also a regulator of the government.
Right, but so how often do you check,
yes.
sorry, Attorney, but how often do you actually check? Do you check if their system is compliant, or do you have kind of like a memo or something, a memorandum circular which states na, o dapat ganito yung minimum security na ginagamit ng mga kumpanya? May ganun po ba?
Actually, yes. There's the minimum standards for security implementation, and I just forgot the circular, but we have the number of the circular, but we have just released that circular, and it's supposed to be implemented for the government and also for the private sector. And it's very important for us to be able to monitor, and it's our duty for us in the Compliance and Monitoring Division. It is also our duty to do, we have this function called compliance checks, where we go to targeted organizations and then we check on their security implementations when it comes to data privacy and data protection.
Are those surprise checks or scheduled?
It varies. We can do surprise checks. We call that privacy sweeps, only for publicly available information. And then we also do on-site visits. We notify them 5 days before, and they have to submit to us documentary compliance documents within 3 days before the scheduled on-site visit. So we go to their headquarters and we check if there's a culture of privacy in their organization and if they're really implementing what it is on paper. So they're implementing in their organization what it is said on paper.
Right.
So we have to verify that.
Attorney, are there penalties, sanctions, if ever you find any neglect from these companies?
Yes, actually, the main thing for companies who does not implement security measures, we are imposing administrative fines on them. We have this administrative fine circular, which is effective, and the fines range from 20,000 pesos to up to 5 million pesos.
Ooh, that's really steep.
Okay, but I need a little bit more details on the hacking of the two companies. Let's circle back. Toyota Makati and Toyota Motor Philippines. Did I understand correctly? You said the breach happened in February, but it was only reported on May 14. Is that correct?
No, it was Toyota Makati had this data breach in February, and they reported to us February 14.
Okay.
Now, the social media post from Deep Web Connect tagged this as an security incident in social media. So we wanted to clarify if this really was, and we are checking right now if the one posted on the Deep Web Connect social media was that of that February 14 security incident, which happened in February, or the Toyota Motors Philippines data breach, which happened in May. So we are checking both.
So the TMP data breach, we don't know yet exactly when it happened.
The TMP data breach happened in May.
Sometime in May. Did I understand correctly that you first found out through Deep Web Connect and not through the companies?
No, it came out, we found out because we have this system called the Data Breach Notification and Management System. So every time there's a personal data breach, all personal information controller must, it's required and it's mandatory. They must notify the commission and they must notify affected data subjects within 72 hours from the discovery.
Right, which brings me to but in
3 days.
SNR's case,
So wait, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So Toyota and Robinsons Land, for these two companies, they did their job and they notified National Privacy Commission within 72 hours of the breaches. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so there's no liability for them on that part.
which brings me to
Yes.
SNR, because according to your press statement dated June 6, SNR supposedly, you're trying to clarify, I suppose, what's going around, that SNR also had a data breach. Can we confirm whether or not there was a data breach and whether or not because you said what was said in the press statement was it was not reported to the National Privacy Commission?
Yeah, actually, SNR already released a statement about this, and they mentioned that there is no data breach. No, they confirmed that there is no data breach that happened in May for SNR, and from our initial investigation, from our compliance and monitoring evaluation, we saw that the data dump is somewhat a data dump from a previous data breach that they had sometime in 2022 or 2020, yeah, 2022.
And where are all these stolen data right now? Have they been sold off? Are they on the dark web? Have we managed to locate and secure that data?
Well, basically, these data are on the dark web, so you just need threat actors or people who want to purchase those data are available for purchase in the dark web.
How will people who were affected, whose data were compromised, find out if they were affected?
Yeah, so this is very important for those organizations who were parties to the data breach. Actually, it's important that they also notify their data subjects within 72 hours, so that those data subjects will also know and will also have time for them to also secure their data personally. So that is really the requirement of the law, that they notify their data subjects individually, affected data subjects individually. So Robinsons is currently reporting that they are notifying, they are finishing the notification requirement for all those involved. Also, Toyota has already reported that they've already finished notifying the affected data subjects.
But that was more than 72 hours ago. Was there some sort of violation there? Or is it okay because marami nga talaga yung mga taong apektado? How does that work? Because it's been more than 72 hours, definitely.
Yes, actually, if you can, there's a mechanism for you to be able to request for extension of notification to the data subjects, and even you can also request for alternative modes of notification to data subjects if really there's a huge number of data subjects who are affected. So the commission grants these requests.
And
What
if
about the affected
for
people?
the customers who are affected, what is their recourse? What can they do at this point?
So it's very important that in the notification, these organizations like Toyota and Robinsons, they inform the data subjects of phone numbers or email addresses that they can contact, so that they can get some information and get assistance from the it's the obligation. It's always the obligation of the personal information controller or Toyota and Robinsons for this issue, that it's their obligation to help the affected data subjects when they identify them. Well, they're already identified, so it's their obligation to help them.
And Attorney Rainier, for example, kasama ako dun sa mga apektado. Is there some sort of, more than what you just mentioned, can I sue the company for being negligent with my data?
Yes, of course. It is your right as a data subject to file a complaint. So if you feel that the company or the personal information controller that is negligent in protecting your data, then and you have pieces of evidence to support your claim, then you as a data subject have the right to complain. It's one of your 8 data subject rights, and you can file a complaint with us in the National Privacy Commission using our complaints assisted form, which is available in our website.
outside of the companies that we mentioned, Toyota, Robinsons Land, and SNR, any other companies that you know that you are watching that's on your radar right now that's vulnerable to hacking?
There's a lot. Actually, there's in our records there are about 6 billion security incidents. No, if we talk about security incidents, these are data breaches, personal data breaches for mandatory notification. So a lot of data breaches for mandatory notification are submitted to us. Last year we have around 400. This year it's around 230 plus already for this 2024. So we are closely monitoring these organizations.
Are these mostly, at least mostly public services or private companies' data?
Private companies, mostly. Around 80% private and 20% government.
So you're saying private companies in the Philippines do not have adequate security system, IT security system?
No. Actually, what I was saying is reports. So these data, if it's for mandatory notification, because we have elements for mandatory notification, it should be it should contain sensitive personal information, and sensitive personal information is in the possession of an unauthorized person, and there is real risk of serious harm to a data subject. Then you need to report to the commission within 72 hours. Those are the elements. So I was saying that basically a lot of these data breaches are not getting reported. That's the thing. So those that get reported, we evaluate those reports and we check on security implementation. But those who does the security incidents or personal data breaches, which are not reported, we have that mechanism in our complaints and investigation division to do sua sponte investigations on those data breaches as well.
Attorney, I'm just curious, circling back to the mechanism you have, like filling out a form in case you were a data subject whose data was breached. How many reports have you actually gotten? Meron po ba talagang nagko-complain?
Actually, there are a lot of complaints, but the thing is, usually if they don't push through with their complaints, so it's really problematic for us to really if there's no support from the complainant and the complainant does not push through with their complaints, then it is also problematic for us to really push for these complaints to get prosecuted.
But the fact that majority of the data breaches actually do not get reported, I don't know how we're going to sleep after finding that out. But we're going to have to leave that there for tonight. Thank you so much for your time. NPC Compliance and Monitoring Division Chief Attorney Rainier Milanes.